Welcome to the SuperTalk. My name's Jay Gonzalez. I'm superintendent of schools for McAllen ISD, and I'm excited to be here talking to Campbell and Mrs. Alandra Speights. Today's about highlighting the great things that our students are doing, and Campbell is definitely one of our great students, a student athlete that's excelled both in the classroom and on the football field and track, and we're very, very proud of you, Campbell. And we also have Mrs. Alandra Speights, Campbell's mom, who's been with McAllen ISD, a big, big fan of McAllen ISD, and we appreciate everything you've done as a mom in the district. I know all your kids went through Gonzalez, Kathy, and Memorial, and you've done such a great job, such a great family. And Jake's also on the show. He's a standing member. He is the producer of the show, and he makes sure that everything runs smooth. He's also a veteran of the U.S. Army. So, Jake, I want to thank you for your service. And for all those that are watching that served in the armed forces, thank you so much for serving and for protecting us. And because of your bravery, we're able to enjoy all of our freedoms. So to all the veterans, thank you very much. And today's show is just about talking about all the great things that are going on. So, Campbell, congratulations. You've done such a tremendous job in your career here in McAllen ISD. Jake and I were talking about you this morning and looking at some of your stats. Jake, talk to us. What are some of the stats that Campbell put up?
Well, there's an important one, which is the National Honor Society. He's in the National Honor Society. But this year, you ended your season and your career in high school, and you rushed for 7,541 yards total rushing. You had 110 yards as far as rushing TDs, 110 rushing TDs, 114 overall. But you ended as the fourth all-time leading rusher in 6A, which is like 6A, 5A. There's some different variations to that. You were in front of Bradley Stevens, and your brother was in first, and so you kept this lineage of great running backs that came from McAllen Memorial. It was incredible, but you were also first team All-State. Yes, sir. So just an incredible career, incredible season.
Yeah, congratulations on all that. And my question is, how do you balance all that? Because I know you're also an AP scholar. You do all these great things in the classroom, and how do you balance being a great student and a great athlete?
It's about sacrifice. You have time management, and you have to sacrifice maybe your social life a little bit in order to get those extra assignments done and stuff like that. So, just learning over the years how to manage my time and be at the football field when I need to be there and be in the classroom when I need to be there, and also being able to hang out with friends and, family. So, just the biggest thing is just managing my time. Very good.
And Mrs. Speights, I know there's a lot of parents out there that have kids that are participating in extracurricular activities, and they have dreams of their kids going on to play at the next level. What advice do you have for parents when you're dealing with that situation of balancing everything and making sure they excel?
Well, I guess there's probably four things. The first being, just be realistic. We all would love for our child to go to Alabama or UT, but just be realistic and use your time and efforts and money and going to where they can actually excel and, have the opportunity to play. And education definitely is one. That's probably the main one. Before Stanford and Navy even talked to our sons, they ask for the transcripts. So that opens doors or it slams them shut. So just make sure your children have their academics in order. So when they have an opportunity, they're able to step up and accept it.
And I know, Campbell, for you, you've done tremendous in both. And I know it's not easy because if you look at accountability now and everything we ask you all to do with regard to end-of-course exams, and then you look at the SAT and the ACT and all the other things that are put on the back of a high school student in 2020 is astronomical compared to anything that I know we had to deal with when we were in school. So you did so well on the football field, all the stats that Jake pointed out. There were a lot of universities that were interested in you. Not only because you're a great football player, but also because you're a great student. Why did you choose the Naval Academy?
When Coach Dupay, which will be my position coach, when he first reached out to me, it was random. I really wasn't expecting it. He kind of just texted me, "Hey, I'm gonna give you a call later." And with most coaches, they're gonna go through the whole process of, "Hey, I need to see a transcript. I want you to come out to camp before I even think about giving you a scholarship." And, he called me and said, "Hey, man, I really like your tape. Your grades look fantastic. There's a couple questions I have to ask you about, your health, for the military. But he's like, I'm going to give you another call tomorrow and offer you a spot on my team." And when I got that call, I knew it was so, he was authentic, that's the guy I wanted to play for. So, with being with that and just the way he went about that process without, all the extra, oh, you need to come to camp, you need to do this, you need to do that. I mean, I just knew that, he wanted me for me, and the tape was enough to show him that, I'm not the biggest, not the strongest, not the fastest, but, I'm a football player, and you can be a great football player without, all the extra stuff these guys have nowadays. So, it's just, there's a lot that went into choosing Navy. I visited the campus, and I mean, it's a gorgeous campus off the water, and the coaching staff is just amazing. All the guys there are, fun to be around. So, I mean, I know it's a place that I want to be and a place that I want to grow as a young man.
And I was thinking back to your signing. It was a gym full of your friends. It was amazing. The whole community came out to support you in that very important day where your dreams came true. Mrs. Speights, I remember your speech and the emotion that you put into that. And actually, when I saw that is when I said, man, we gotta get Campbell and his mom up on the SuperTalk so we can talk about that and open this conversation up to the world, because there's so many people, not only in McAllen ISD, but across the world, that need to hear this message about what you're saying and what it takes to make it happen. And what can you say about the support you got at Memorial High School?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, from from the coaching staff to Principal Alvarez to teachers to my friends, I mean, it's just amazing. They're behind me all the way, and I'm glad that I was a part of Memorial for the past 4 years, and I'm sure I'll be able to reach out in the future and talk to a lot of those people that I talked to.
Awesome. You mentioned teachers. So who's your favorite teacher now, or who was your favorite teacher?
I mean, I've had a lot of great teachers, from kinder all the way up to now. But I guess, if you ask me most recently, I would say one of my favorite teachers is Mr. Baus. He was my pre-AP and AP chemistry teacher last year. So, I mean, and why? It'd be because he's very energetic. You can tell when you have a teacher that comes to class and, kind of just there, just, going through the motions, reading and lecturing. But you can also tell when you have a teacher that is there, energetic, likes doing what they're doing, is passionate about their job, and is there because they want to help you learn. And that's the type of guy he is. I mean, he comes in and he makes learning really fun. And so that's probably somebody that'd be my favorite right now.
That's awesome. Now let's go down memory lane. What about elementary school? You went to Gonzalez. My kids are currently in kinder, first and second. So let's just go back to Gonzalez. Who was your favorite elementary teacher?
My favorite elementary teacher. My favorite was probably Miss Franklin. She was my third grade teacher. I think now she's at Kathy. She was also my sixth grade Kathy English teacher. So it was pretty cool. I loved her, and my mom, she knew how good of a teacher she was to me, and I love her for her.
Very good. Jake, going back to the Naval Academy, you did some research on the Naval Academy. What did you learn?
Well, it's one of the two oldest service academies, the other one being West Point. But it was established in 1845, so it has some legacy. But some of the big names that have come out of the Navy have been John McCain, Jimmy Carter, David Robinson, Roger Staubach. And, they last year, naval football, went 11-2, 7-1 in conference. They had a good game at the end of the year as well against Army, but they've had a tremendous run. Their football programs has been sensational.
Well, they're lucky to have Campbell coming and joining their team, and I know a big part of your success is obviously your parents. I mean, I've known your parents for a long time. Your older brother went to Kathy when I was a principal there, and I saw how hard they worked to guide him and nurture him, and I've seen what they've done with you and even with your little brother Braxton that's down in the 5th grade. But Mrs. Speights, what advice do you have for parents with regard to just what's the most important thing a mom can do for her children?
I think I'm gonna just kind of say it on a sport, having children that are great athletes. Us as parents, we kind of want to be very involved. But I think me and my husband did a great job of stepping back and allowing them to be coached, which gave them great lessons as showing respect, great teammates, great leadership, and kept that sense of humility, which I think is important. That's probably been the proudest moment when someone come and compliments my son on how respectful they are and how much humility, and they're humble and they're passionate and they love people, and they're just good people. So I think just stepping back and allowing coaches, teachers, them to do their jobs, not asking, or expecting certain things because, your son is a great athlete. Just letting them go through the process like anyone else would.
I love that advice. And I think too many times in today's society, especially, I don't know if it's club ball or kids starting competitive sports so young now, that a lot of times parents tend to get too involved or try to get involved in the coaching side of it or start to pressure the kids to excel at an early age. So I love how you're saying just let your children be coached. Let the system run its course. Let them learn through the process and the ups and downs of it. I think that's wonderful advice. What are some of your hopes and dreams for your children?
You're going to make me emotional. My biggest accomplishment has been being a mother to Campbell, Braxton, and Trevor. My hopes and dreams, I think I would hope when 20, 30 years from now, when they look in the mirror and they see the man in the mirror, that they are proud of who they see, because then I know that they have been successful and have lived a purposeful life. And so that's, as a parent, that's my dream, just for my child to be happy and just and proud of who they are and who they've become.
That's awesome. I love that. And you mentioned at some point, I don't remember, I heard you speak somewhere, Campbell, and you made reference to your mom, and you made reference to what would my 40-year-old self think about it. What?
Yeah.
How does that work?
That's kind of been one of my things. I always tell them, like, this is, you make a decision. What will your 40-year-old self think of this decision? Because that's what, it's about the future, so the decisions you make now are going to impact you 40 years from now. So what does your 40-year-old self think? What would he do? Will he be proud of you, of this decision, or would he, be ashamed? So that's kind of how we parent, and, just because instead of us saying no or, or God, or telling them what to do, we just kind of, put it in, their 40-year-old self's hands.
I love that. When I heard that, I mean, how does that help you? And do you use that as your guide?
Yeah, that's my mom and my dad's reference is 40 years. As far as you asked me why I picked the Naval Academy, and I'm sure Trevor's got the question why he picked Stanford over the plenty powerhouses he had. So it boils down to that too. My mom and my dad are big on 40-year decisions, and I mean, I get that all the time. Well, what will your 40-year-old self think about this? And so, I mean, just being able to have them behind us and kind of just, like she said, just guiding us in the right direction, making sure that we're not, thinking, we got to play Power 5 football because we want to go here and here and here. They made sure that we knew, hey, football comes to an end one day. No matter if it's in middle school, high school, college, NFL, one day you're not going to be able to play the football. And so they made sure we knew that and made sure we knew that education is the most important thing, should be our most important reason for why we choose a school. And so I think when you look at the schools that myself and my older brother chose, I think that's the testimony to that. So.
Very good. I took notes on that one. I was like, I love that. I said, the only problem is I'm 47. So I'm thinking, what was my 60-year-old self think about this decision? So I think that it's nice that, parents that are out there, I think that's great advice to get your kids to look at how a decision today is going to impact your tomorrow. Campbell, there's a lot of kids that look up to you. There's a lot of kids that want to be like you. There's a lot of kids that want to go play at the next level, that want to excel in the classroom. So for those kids in elementary or at middle school that are watching or listening, what advice do you have for those that are following your footsteps in order to reach your level of success?
I would say the biggest thing that helped me was making sure that I surrounded myself with the right people. With all my friends, my group of friends, they're all top in the class, top 5%, stuff like that, committed to play such and such and, first team this, so I think I did a great job of surrounding myself with the right people that had the same mindset as far as success. Not necessarily all football players, but I mean, soccer players and just brainiacs in the classroom, stuff like that, just making sure that I had the surrounding cast that were going to lead me and keep me focused in the right direction. And so I think that was the biggest thing, is just being able to surround yourself with the people that have the same intentions, have the same aspirations as you do. So, and then, we always, with me and my friends and all the people I hang out with or talk to or surround myself with, we always feed off each other, whether it's in the classroom, oh, I got this grade. Oh, well, I did better. And then, we kind of have that competition there and on the field and in the weight room and stuff like that. So just being able to have people you can lean on when you need to, and people to push you and be real with you, when they need to. So that was probably the biggest thing for me. And that's probably what I'd tell those kids is, just make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people that are doing the right things.
That's fantastic advice. So for anybody out there that wants to join McAllen ISD, know that we have top-notch students that are pushing each other to excel. If you're part of the family, if you're part of McAllen ISD already, know that we have a lot of kids that are rallying around one another, as Campbell pointed out. And Mrs. Speights said it well. You got to let the system run its course. You got to love your kids, have big dreams for them. But at the end of the day, they got to work their way through the system. So I want to thank you all, Campbell, Mrs. Speights. Thank you all for being on today. It was a tremendous conversation. Learned a lot from a parent standpoint and from a student standpoint, and took notes as a dad. And really just want to say that we're very proud of you, Campbell, and proud of your family, Mrs. Speights. And on behalf of the entire McAllen ISD family, congratulations on all the success. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, congratulations. And we all wish you all nothing but the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you.